Wasted time sounds like something negative. We hear it all the time. Don't waste time. Make sure you're not wasting time. If you're putting in time, you need to make sure that it's not wasted. Everything needs to be intentional, to the point, and with a particular goal in mind. And I'm not going to disagree with that necessarily. Having goals and being goal oriented is absolutely vital if you're going to follow the path that you want to follow with professional school. But I did have something come up in a mock session with a student the other day that I wanted to take just a minute or two of your time to reflect on. Before that, hi, my name is Dr. Sarah Klebe, and I'm an admissions expert at BeMo. So I've been an educator for quite a long time, at least 15 years at this point, which is a very long time, at least for me. And one of the things that I really care about is simply student well-being, student mental health, physical health, emotional health. You're under a lot of stress all the time as a student, regardless of what program you are in currently, what you're aspiring towards, what the end goal is for you. Being a student is a time of pressure. Hopefully it's also a time of fun and growth and development and independence and all of those wonderful things as well. But pressure is part and parcel of the student experience. And so I was doing a mock interview session the other day with a student, and the student was telling me about a book that they had read recently. And one of the things that really surprised them in this book was the call to play. And now by play, we don't mean participating in organized or competitive sports or something like that. Certainly that is a kind of play, but when scholars in particular think about play, and yes, there is scholarship on this, trust me, we're largely talking about unintentional time spent doing something that we enjoy. So competitive play on sports teams and things like that, that's play, but it is intentional, right? It's something that you do routinely with the same people. There are guidelines that you follow and things like that. And that's not necessarily the same thing as that kind of unbridled play that we have and that we experience when we're kids, for example. And we tend to associate maturity and adulthood with not that, certainly not that. And if you're a student who's looking to med school, grad school, law school, anything like that, the idea of wasted time is probably a bit terrifying, if not something that you would sort of turn your nose up at. And I absolutely appreciate that. However, the idea that we need to remain physically well as socially well and sort of for lack of a better term, kind of spiritually well, and you can take that however you want. It doesn't necessarily mean something religious, though maybe it could, but just that idea that we have to sort of feed our core essence as part of the overall work that we do just as humans. That was something that really came through in this particular session. And this idea that we need to make time for things that we do purely for fun, not because we're obligated to, not because we signed up ahead of time, not because it's a commitment, but just something that we do purely because it brings us happiness and pleasure, and we can do it either on a whim or set aside some time for that. I think that is a really incredibly important concept, and not one at all at odds with the idea of becoming a mature professional and meeting your goals. Again, time as a student and as a working professional is inherently stressful, and our lives pull us in 100 different directions all at once. But it is absolutely worth it sometimes, not always, you have to be disciplined, but sometimes to let go a little bit and just play. Just have fun doing something that genuinely brings you joy. If that is the first thing that gets written off of your list as you strive to complete everything else, I would encourage you to try to find some way to bring it back in. It can't be something you do for, 6 hours a day, every day. Obviously, that's part of being mature, is recognizing when play needs to be sort of set aside for other things. But please try to set some time just all to yourself to do whatever it is that brings you joy. If it's playing video games, that's fine. I certainly enjoy playing video games from time to time. If it's crafting or getting your hands in the mud or going skiing or just sitting around and having a conversation with someone that isn't purpose driven, which is to say it's not just talking to people about the assignments coming up. It's not just dealing with group work. It's something that is less structured than that. Please try to find time to do that just for yourself. We tend to prioritize so many things beyond our own basic fundamental well-being, and that is not going to allow you to do all the things that you need and want to do, especially for others. If you want to go into a career where you're representing people, helping people, healing people, teaching people, all of those things are wonderful, but you can't do any of them if you haven't taken care of yourself. That doesn't mean always putting yourself first. Again, being mature means knowing when you need to put yourself aside a little bit. But you are absolutely allowed to prioritize yourself sometimes, whatever that means for you. So that's what I wanted to relate to you today. Just a quick little thing that came out of a really great session that I had the other day. I love pursuing these ideas with students and just helping students and educators and other people in professional occupations and things like that. Just really think through what they need to do to feed their essence, their soul, whatever it is that we all seem to have inside. So with that said, when you're ready to get to work and work on your applications and admissions, please do follow the link that should appear either above or below this video and get in touch with us. We have lots of programs to meet your needs, and we'll put you in contact with one of our experts who will help you find whatever program will best support you and your needs. We are always happy to work with you and figure out what needs to happen for you to meet your goals. So as ever, thank you so very much for your time. Take good care, and I'll see you next time.